What's up, guys? Thanks for coming to the podcast. I think we've been going back for I want to say like a year, but I don't think it's been.
At least a
year. You think it's been that long?
It's been a year.
Yeah. Why don't you tell everyone who you guys are?
We are the Riverside Smudge Pots vintage baseball team. I am the curator, Chris Johnson.
And I am the designer, Victor Gomez.
So, I mean, there's a lot of people I know. Obviously, people that listen to this podcast know I've been in baseball for almost my whole life. So, I know I used to work like the men's senior league, or not men's, like I used to go to Arizona to the men's senior World Series and all this stuff. And guys that would like get out of like indie ball and then they didn't want to give it up, so they would go to that. So, like, were you guys baseball players? Like, have you guys always been playing baseball? Like, how did this whole love of the game go?
Yeah, I've always been involved in baseball as long as I can remember. I played at Evans Park right down the street, Victoria Pony League. Then I played through high school at Ramona down the street as well, and always had an affinity for the game and actually the love of the history of the game.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity came to like combine all those two and still play outside of like the adult softball circuit, I jumped at it. So
nice. What about you, man?
I grew up in San Bernardino, actually, and I played over at the Guadalupe Pony League right there on the west side. I only played a little bit there. Only experience I've had when it came to organized ball. I played freshman baseball at Pacific High School in San Bernardino. Had a cup of coffee with the JV, nothing serious, and then that was it pretty much. I took a backseat from playing or watching the game for a little bit. I was going through a lot of stuff at that time, but came back to it. Mostly it's for the love of my dad. My dad loves the game. And
does he play with you?
Not on our team.
Okay.
Team. No, he's around that age. He's hitting 73 already. But he would tell me stories. When he used to play in Mexico, when he was a kid, and playing all dirt fields and playing against other ranchitos.
This show is sponsored by Resilient Real Estate Group, powered by EXP. So, you're thinking about buying and selling soon? Yes, we know you probably know a realtor, your mom's best friend's cousin's neighbor, puts her face on the local shopping cart. But you know what? Our friends at Resilient Real Estate Group have helped hundreds of thousands of people sell houses over the years, and they definitely know what they're doing based on their 5-star review on Google and Zillow. So, it doesn't matter if you're looking to buy $1 million house or a fixer-upper, make sure the next time you're thinking about buying and selling real estate, you give our friends a call over at Resilient Real Estate Group. And now we're back to the show. So how did this whole league start? So you're the curator of this.
Yeah.
So where did this crazy idea come up from?
So Riverside started, I was on Facebook, and I used to work with a girl at the Mission Inn, and she posted that her husband's playing for this Crestline vintage baseball team. So I wanted to join that. And so they were already full. And then the commissioner who started the whole league said, hey, why don't you just start a Riverside team? So I'm like, oh, man, that sounds like a lot of work. One more hobby to get involved in. So I called up my friend at the time and said, hey, are you down? And this Smudge Pot name has been kind of like hovering over me for like at least 20 years. I always just thought that was quirky.
Yeah.
And so called it the Riverside Smudge Pots, started calling everyone I ever played baseball with. And this is before we had uniforms or any of the cool stuff. So trying to sell that idea, it was hard, and just got a lot of no's. And then the people that we have on our team said yes, and now we just have so many people reaching out to want to want to play.
Now it's a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
So how many teams are in this league?
Right now we have 8 teams. We've had 9 at one point, and then we're looking to add other teams. Anaheim is a possibility. They reached out last year. So it's just, it's evolving. We've had a few teams come and go, but we're looking to add more and add more communities into the mix.
So where do you guys play at in Riverside?
So we're blessed to be playing at California School for the Deaf.
Oh, nice.
So it's been our home the entire time. You think in a city like Riverside, all these fields, you go on Google Earth.
Yeah, there's tons.
And you're like, where's the baseball field? And I call like Sherman Indian. I call every public high school. I sought out all the possibilities, but CSDR was the only one that said yes. So we've been fortunate to play there. So going into our 4th season.
What is it about this style of baseball that is kind of like, obviously, like I said, you could go play softball and you could go play men's. Like, I remember I used to love when I used to umpire those games, I would tell them, like, put me 55 plus. And they're like, why would you want 55 plus? I'm like, because I just got out of professional baseball. I don't want to go do 25 and younger, and they're still playing like it's the World Series. I like 55 plus because they like hit it, and if it doesn't get out of the ground infield, they would never run to first base. They're just like, so what is it about this style of baseball that has kind of drawn you in to then just playing normal style?
You know what? I've always liked to be involved, like being a league that's very well organized.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I think all of us have played adult league softball.
Yes.
You go in there, your fancy dry fit that looks like a CrossFit jersey.
100%.
Your freaking your shorts, different style cap. It's just the one team. There's no structure. You know what I mean? Everybody wears everything, and that's it. And that's cool. I'm like, if that's your cup of tea, that's cool. But I actually like to be in a league where I'm very, the league forces. It's not that it's forcing you, but they tell you, hey, okay, you're gonna play this game. This is the uniform. This is the equipment you're gonna play. I like structure. I like organizational structure. That's what I'm trying to say.
What about yourself?
I'm a history major.
Yeah.
And so I get to incorporate history, the love of Riverside, and then the love of baseball all together. And it's just like kind of going back to what you said. It's for the love of the game, not trying to throw 95 out there, with some of these youngsters and metal bats and all that stuff. It's it's more of a gentleman's game, and it's like I kind of tell people, I'm like, if we were playing slow pitch softball and we won a championship, nobody cares.
Yeah, because there's so many of them.
You get the T-shirt, it's another team, and we're not better than probably most of those people on those teams by any means. But when you wear the rain cross on your chest and represent your city against these other cities that the community surrounds you, like the mayor will
I saw the mayor was out there last week.
Yeah, like we asked the mayor to come by our game over at the Big League Dreams. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think she's popping
the dry
in.
fit, but just trying to make those community connections, doing stuff at the Heritage House with their ice cream social, a lot of these things, the California Citrus Park, all these invites, even being here.
Yeah,
I don't think you would have us either, right?
Listen, I don't. So for you guys, like, how long does the season? Just so more people can know about the league, like, how long is it? You travel, like, how does that all work?
Well, we play 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
We play 8 games a season. We have 4 road games, 4 home games, and we usually rotate. Right now, I think our schedule, we play the first team that we played on the first game. That'll be our last game of the year.
Got it.
So the distance is not, like I said, the distance it's really not bad. Like for example, a lot of us like to go to Redondo. Redondo's a nice little place. We like to usually back then I will take my girlfriend or my wife. We'll go to Redondo for the whole day. After we play the game, we'll kick it back. Have a little bit of a family day. But usually the commissioner, the captains, they will figure out the schedule.
Got it.
Yeah, it's more their call than anything.
And when does the season go on? Is it going on right now, I'm guessing?
Yeah, we're halfway through, so we'll pick back up at the end of July, and then we go through October, and that's when like playoffs, championships. Yeah, but it's we used to have Palmdale in the league, so that was a little bit of a drive out there. Yeah, that was the one where like, let's please have a home game against them. But I guess like if you think of it in terms like old vintage baseball, they used to call it barnstorming when you go on the road. So when we barnstorm, but it is fun. You get to check out other cities, and I feel like we have friends, all over Southern California now. So
was it a hard transition to go to like these style of mitts and this style of bat, like, or do you see people like some people might not think they can make that transition. When you have a new player come in, how long does it take them? Like, I don't know if I could field with just like that. So, like, for you guys, like, what's the transition for someone who's not used to playing in this style?
It took us a while, right? When we first started, and you know what? There's days where you're like, dang, this still hurts.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it hurts. Like I just recruited some new guys, and we went through out at the beach, and these guys were gunning it in, and I'm like, and I'm trying to act cool, and I'm like, no, this hurts.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning. The bats are 40 ounces minimum. So you're thinking about like what's a major league bat,
it's like 32,
33.
Yeah.
It's usually like 33, 34 length. So these are 35, 40 ounce.
So they're just like you're swinging a
like
tree trunk.
yeah, basically it's like a furniture leg, like the little bats. And so that's hard, and especially the pitcher's throwing from like we're around 55.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are, played some college ball, so they're throwing the ball hard.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I always used to laugh. Like I used to work this game. I used to work when I was still in high school. I would work this like Angel Fantasy Camp on Sundays at Fullerton Junior College every Sunday. It was like big businessmen, and you had to go to the Angel Fantasy Camp to be in the league, and then they would have like official Angels, and they were like up there. Some of the guys were like friends with the owners, or whatever. But it was everyone was like all hardcore until someone like got hurt. And then everyone's like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, this is just for fun. Like, we need to check
Yeah.
ourselves. Yeah. So does that happen with you guys where, like, everyone's, like, all competitive, and then you're like, oh, shit, I got to go to work tomorrow? Like, I got to still do this?
Yeah, that's always the challenge. We're trying to keep it authentic.
Yeah.
So we're not wearing helmets or anything like that. And then you're like, yeah, I got to get up on Monday. So when we've had a couple instances
50,
where
55 feet.
Yeah.
That's 5 feet shorter than that ball probably comes in there slinging.
Yeah, we're not playing with like a softball by any means.
No.
So we've had a few instances where people have been hit in the head. So those are scary times where, you have like that awakening and pull it back and try to make sure that, we incorporate rules that kind of,
save you a little bit.
make sure that happens. But, we can't start wearing helmets, or then we're wearing the dry fit, then we're using metal bats.
Yeah.
Then we're Sunday League Baseball.
Then you're Sunday League Baseball, yeah.
I've actually been first game of the year. I actually got hit in my thumb. Actually.
Oh.
So it's barely healing right now as it is. So
It's God, I remember just guys like it's like the moment you would look around and you would see like that.
Yeah.
Oh crap, we all have to go to work tomorrow. Like everyone calm down.
I've got a family.
Yeah, like I need to I have to find a way to drive home today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one's going to come pick me up. So what are, like we just talked about 55 feet. Normally people the normal amount in the major league is 60 feet 6 inches. So what are other type of rule changes that people would understand that is different than what we see nowadays?
I would say we play 1886 baseball, so you think like Civil War baseball. That's kind of the underhand.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien did like a funny bit about that, put that kind of culture. But we play overhand, and why 1886 is when baseball went overhand and the introduction of the mitt. But some of the major rule changes are if you foul tip a ball, it doesn't count as a strike. So that's cool when you're hitting. If you're pitching, that's not cool, right?
Yeah.
And to walk somebody, it's 7 balls.
7 balls, yeah.
To a walk. So we had a few counts that probably went like 20 pitches the other day.
Oh, because you can foul tip.
Oh, it was like endless.
it's just a
at bat.
battle, pretty much.
And how long does a normal game? Do you guys do time limits, or do you have to play 9 innings?
Well, we play 7.
7. Okay.
And I don't know if that was official rule, but that's like, you're over 40 rule where we could, like a day today, like while we're recording, it's almost 100 out. So trying to be out there with these wool uniforms, it'd be rough.
Oh, I bet.
So that's another one. If you get hit by a pitch, like talking about getting hit.
Yeah.
So I got hit in the face a couple seasons ago. You're bleeding, and then you don't get first base.
No.
That's just a ball. So just keep on going. So those are some of the main
rules.
ones. And then the umpire.
Yeah.
So if you were part of our league,
Yeah.
you'd be called the sir.
Yes.
And so you could smoke a cigar during the game, and you have the utmost authority.
Maybe I
and
should come back.
Respect and everything. So we're not supposed to argue with you. The captain could go out there and challenge a call and ask for a gentleman's call where the person's supposed to be honest and say, "Hey, were you out?" Or say,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, in theory.
In theory, yeah. It's especially now. It's how many rules are changing now is insane.
Yeah.
Like I've been out of baseball for 7 years now, and just the rule changes since then, I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how do you? So you guys, I see you have some rings on your finger. Is that from past championships?
Yeah,
or?
I had to bring that hardware.
I should. You know what? I didn't even think of it. I should have brought my hardware. Dang it! I should have worn a ring.
We didn't take it last year, but we've been fortunate enough. The first two seasons, we won the championship. We were kind of underdogs and came through. And the second season, we lost a teammate, so it was like more meaningful. And but these are championship rings, and they're like this one was like almost handmade. So
Nice.
So it does look like from the era. I know it's ridiculous. It's like more of a new thing, but yeah. So it has a lot of Riverside, nods to it. Victor actually designed these rings. That's why
Nice.
he's the designer.
Yeah.
One of the reasons they call me the designer.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's 2 leagues I never worked the championship, and one was the California League, which very upset me because I'm from California,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I should have gotten it when I worked at the California League. And then when I was my last year in AAA, those are the two I have like Texas and I have
Oh,
Northwest.
you're doing some serious baseball, yeah.
Oh yeah, like
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like I was like
Yeah,
looking
you're
into the
Cal
big leagues.
League. Oh man.
Like big league spring, and
Oh,
my
dude.
umpired games with Tim Litzka pitching, and
Wow.
yeah. Like
Okay.
went
That's
to the
awesome.
Dominican for 4 months and worked there major leagues, and with Manny Ramirez playing, and yeah.
Oh, geez.
Nice.
Yeah. Like me and Trout came through the system together, and yeah, like umpire.
Wow.
Yeah. So when people, it's hard.
No, I know you were talking about it, and I'm like, okay, you did some big stuff. But
Yeah.
that's big.
Yeah. Well, so like next week I'm going to the All-Star game because my two roommates are major league umpires now, and they're working the game. So I'll be up there. And then so that's a cool part for me is like I get to still be involved in, like last year my best friend worked the World Series. So then I went to Philadelphia with him and got to go on the field, and so it's cool because it's like even though I'm not in it anymore, I'm still so into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's
You're surrounded.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's like, oh, you want to come to Boston? Yeah, sure. And then, hey, do you want to go into the wall and sign the inside? Yeah, sure. Like I take for granted that life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's how it is, like, oh, I got the All-Star game. You're coming to the All-Star game, and okay, you come to the World Series. Oh, you're coming to yeah, sure. So yeah, so we've been lucky and fortunate enough to be around that stuff. So, but it's funny because I think the love of the game is what's lost, especially like, I have some stepkids and they play all Little League and whatever. And it's hard because I have the experience and I've been around it so much where I'm like, dude, none of this matters. Like everyone's freaking out. No, it's just go have fun.
Yeah.
Go have fun. Who cares about the umpire? Who cares if you don't play well? This means nothing in the big
know.
city. Just go have fun.
I know.
It's like when you take the fun out of it, it just sucks. So you guys, I assume, is that something you guys really have to fight sometimes? Is just still reminding yourself why you're out there?
Yeah, I think a few weeks ago we had a game where we lost and everyone's kind of down and getting on each other, and that's like that's what we had to say. It was like, man, we're out there to have fun. Even the best of the best, you're getting look at Yankees payroll, like they haven't won since 2009, like, and we're like, oh man, we got to win championships all the time, and if we lose that and we lose the fun of the game, then
Well, that's like you only
have
8 games, so then it's like we lost, so we got to wait all until
and
next
now
year.
we're a 500 team. It's like
you don't have that many games.
and then we play every 2 weeks, so then you have to wait to get back and get out there, and so we just have to remind ourselves of that. And
Do you
what
manage
we're
the
even
team?
doing. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play, manage, and then we're trying to set up all the.
You're the last Pete Rose then.
Yeah.
What have the gambling problem?
How do you know, man? I put some down on that vintage league over under.
Can you imagine if there was a line on the vintage?
Oh
Riverside
man, we made it if we, they're putting money at Sam Manuel on it.
If there's lines on the World Series.
Yeah.
Do you ever have people like hit you guys up like when you're playing and people are like, what is like? Do you ever have people wander over and see what you guys are up to if people are at the school or?
Yeah, we have people in the middle of the game that come through the chain link and ask questions or just come on the field and want to like record and things like that. And we welcome all of it. It's fun. Just glad to see people out at the games. And I think one of the coolest things for me, saw this lady I used to be a docent with at the Michigan Museum last game. And I'm like, man, this is like some wedding or something. Like we see all these people from different parts of your lives.
Yeah.
And then just people from around the community. And they're like, wow. And the support. And just something that's kind of like, timeless. They say it's America's pastime, just, especially after COVID, just seeing people, return. And it's just like this, pastoral game. And
Well, there's just so much history with it.
yeah.
And it's like, if you don't recognize the history of it, it's hard to like know where the game's going to go.
Yeah.
And so it's almost reminding you like how it all started. And something like that. So you're the designer. Who designs the uniforms?
Well, we go to this one. Her name is Nora. Was it Nora? Stockbridge or?
Oh, there's in the vintage game,
Yeah.
there's all these American-made retailers, and it's very small. So
It's hard to find.
Yeah, so you think of all the lady who makes the hats. Her name's Norma.
Oh, like a Norma.
Yeah, and so she made the hats for the movie a league of their own.
Oh, okay.
And then the other company's KP Weavers, but like any movie that's gonna like be like, you know, old time baseball
That's them?
inclusion, they go to them. So
Got it.
any commercial, anything like that, so they go to them. This first one, I kind of worked with them on it. I knew I wanted the rain cross to be very prominent, and then I'm like, this shield logo would look really cool. Like pinstripes and things like that just weren't a thing in the era. And even on the hats, like putting any logo or anything, so that pillbox. And then Victor designed this one recently.
You designed that one.
So this is making its debut on what's
Do you guys ever wish, like, God, can we make this a little breathe a little bit better?
This one is a little better, but I thought it was going to be lighter than this.
Yeah.
You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
But yeah, we haven't worn this one yet. So they sent us a sample, so I thought I'd bring it on the show.
Dude, I just couldn't imagine, because, you know, like, years I went through, like, the Texas League, and we had, like, my first year, we had, like, 100, over 100 we had 100, it was over 100 days in a row one summer, my first summer there. So I couldn't imagine stepping out and being, like...
It's rough. We saw like somebody that was catching one day, and they just fell over, like mid-pitch. So
do you guys, do they wear masks?
So the catcher does,
but they don't wear a helmet.
Yeah, so the catcher is also known as a behind. They wear a mask. They wear a chest protector, but no shin
shins?
guards, and no helmet. And so, like, our catcher, he actually lives right up here at the mark.
Okay.
We were trying to have him on the show, but like, he'll get hit at the foul tip like a few times a game, and I don't know how he does it. And he just shakes it off, and he takes a second, and gets right back out there. So, you know. The tools of ignorance, but without the tools of ignorance. So
so if a new team, so is this more than just Southern California? Do you guys know? Is there more of these leagues nationwide?
There's a league over in the Bay Area.
Okay.
They've been around for over 15, 16 years.
Wow.
For us, actually.
Wow. Do you guys ever like try to like do a meetup? Or like to try to be mad, like them versus you guys, World Series.
Well, this past February, it was us and our buddies from Crestline. We were gonna meet San Francisco, the Pelicans and the Clarions, for a little exhibition match over in San Luis Obispo, which is kind of like the middle part of California. So we were supposed to meet up with them, but it got rained out.
Oh,
it was in the thick of like that really bad storm.
rain.
Yeah,
you know, like, that trip too.
It was all booked and everyone was all hyped. Koozies were made and all sorts of stuff. But we're working on I think it's called the
California
Cup. So we're gonna like play whoever wins our league. We're gonna meet.
That'd be awesome.
So that's something that we're working on this year. So, and they've been really instrumental in helping guide our league and rules and things that they've already been through that we're kind of the new league still. But like on the East Coast and Midwest, they play more like that Civil War underhand baseball.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I did a tournament, just outside of Tombstone, and we played that. So it's a whole different game.
I think Ohio's about to start an overhand 1886 league, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. We were on that podcast with they're trying to start another 1886 league. So
I'll tell you this: there's nothing better for me when I would sit down with guys, and they've just been like major league umpires that have been around for the 70s, and this like how it used to be, like even like then, or like I had lead presidents. I had when I was in AA, Tom Kaiser was like a historian. So the Texas League I think has been around for 100 years at least. So like it was cool. We worked a game in Little Rock, Arkansas. I worked home plate, and we were the first game in all of history to have a no hitter and a triple play in one game.
Wow.
And so like we get done with the field, and he's like calling me, and I'm like, nothing happened. Like, oh yeah, it was a combined no hitter, whatever. Like, and he called me. He's like, hey, I need a favor. I'm like, what is that favor? He's like, I need you to mail me the lineup cards. Yeah. I'm like, why? And he's like, you are the first. He's like, I'm looking all through. He's like, for sure right now, I know you're the only game ever in Texas League history to have a no hitter and a triple play in one game, and I think you're the only game ever. He's like, so we need those lineup cards. And it was so cool to like sit down with him and him because he'd been in the league for 25 years. So just like talking about like the just how different and the history and why this is like this and it's just that is very interesting to me.
Yeah, and you start thinking about, modern or minor league baseball now versus how it was. Like, I don't know how old you are, but I'm
36.
I'm 40. So growing up around, Riverside actually had
the Pilots.
Riverside Pilots and the Riverside Red Wave before that. And then we were just talking about, some past teams.
Spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. So kicking around those minor league games as a kid, and like they would just hand over the lineup card and they would hand out the cracked bats. You just wait down there like crack bat, and then now they're selling them in their team store for $60, and now things leave the field and they get the little hologram. So minor league games changed.
Well, now that Major League Baseball took it over too, that I don't think and they got rid of a lot of teams. They in the last few years they got rid of a lot of teams because they're just not profitable anymore, and it's strictly a business. It's really a business. And I'm surprised Riverside has never gotten a team again. Like we could totally handle one.
Yeah.
If San Bernardino has one, we can have one.
Yeah, we were just talking about this right now. The demise of the Red Wave and the Pilots.
Yeah.
Because of first of all, you couldn't sell beer.
Yeah, well, you can't have it at UCR. You can't sell. Yeah, you have to have beer.
And for a minor league team, that's like
the money.
That's 20-30% of the profit right there, man.
Dude, Tuesday nights used to be rowdy in every city. Yeah. Tuesday night, drink night was crazy.
I was checking the numbers from from the Red Wave. They only profited around 95,000 that year. While you look at teams like San Bernardino, teams that sell alcohol. 150,000. So it's just a big difference.
Well, always my argument when I went through the Cal League in 2010 was like, okay, that was when High Desert was in there, that league. And I'm like, there's no way there's no one ever here. This is a ghost town. Like I was like, I'm from Riverside. Yeah. We have enough people. We could put a team there. I was like, Santa Barbara or Chico. I would go to the league president all the time. Like, dude, there's so many great cities. Even I think Long Beach could handle one. I think Temecula could handle a team.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like you have all these great little things, but then like Modesto is a city that was still there. The Modesto Nuts is a terrible city to go to, and I mean I've gone through some bad cities in the day. I'll tell you that.
A lot of that has to do with like the history of these franchises.
Yes.
But if you had to do it all again right now,
and they all have zones too. That's what people don't like. I'm surprised Vegas is getting the A's because the Vegas team is not the A. I never knew that. Like San Jose was the Giants, and there were some talks about moving some stuff. They're like, we can't because they have the rights to that area. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what does that mean? They're like, the Giants own this, so they get the rights of what happens to this team, even though the Giants didn't own the San Jose Giants. They have the rights to them. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, there's way more that goes into it. Do you guys go to a lot of baseball games?
Not as much as I used to. Yeah.
Do you watch it?
I used to do an Angels baseball podcast that we were just talking about. So I used to go to a lot. Of minor league games. Watch a lot of games though.
Yeah. Do you watch a lot of games?
You know what? I live in San Bernardino, so I live like 5 minutes away from San Manuel. So I try to catch a game at least once a week at the most.
Okay.
And for me, even because I'm a Dodger fan, I really don't care if they're an Angel.
Yeah. Because they're the Angels now, right?
I'm just there to watch the game, but I also love the history of that franchise because hey, we still got the 6 California League championships that we won there.
Yeah.
Even when they were the Dodgers and Angels and Mariners affiliates,
Yeah, I forget. I forgot when I was there. They were the Dodgers, and then Rancho was Angels, and they swap. But even like stuff like that, like I'm like, why are they?
It gets confusing.
It gets so confusing.
Then it's like if I'm a fan of this and they change affiliations, do I go over to Rancho or it gets tricky.
I think for me, just like in this vintage league, it's the city pride. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I'll tell you this: city pride is nothing bigger than when you're in when I was in the Dominican. Yeah. City pride was. That was something that I saw that nothing here will ever compete with. Yeah. Like, there was 6 teams when I was there, and your city, that was your team. Like, there was no, And because a guy I worked with who an umpire, I came up in the minor league. He lives there and whatever. And he's like, no. Like whatever city you're born in, that's your city. That's your team. Yeah. You don't get to jump around. You don't get to shoot. And it's like gangs. Wow. It's gangs down. Like it is. That's your team.
I love it.
That's your team. That's who you root for. And then when you're going to the games, it's like it builds. Like you're driving into this town. It's building because that's their biggest thing to do there. So it's like everyone. Boom, 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 selling hats and like people selling stuff in the streets. And like, I remember the first game I worked in the Capitol, I was like so nervous because I'm like, holy crap. And you're in the locker room and it's like, you can hear the and chainsaws and you're like,
dude, I better not make a bad call.
I'll tell you, I got a story for you guys. So it's I'm working first base in the playoffs in Santo Domingo. No, San Pedro. Check swing. I'm at first. He doesn't go. And next guy, he like hits a base hit. Guy goes first. Before I know it, I hear this like noise behind me. Freaking someone threw a bottle.
Oh wow!
Behind me and boom, right? Wow. And luckily, a lot of the guys that were there were guys I had in the States. So like, I knew the first baseman really. I came up through the system of the first baseman, the shortstop. So they all knew who I was. And there, we Americans have like they respect us because they know we're going to the States with them. So they know like
that better be
this.
Cool.
So then it's like no. Like, and I like that was the first time I was like, oh my God, like this is like. And they do round robin there, so the playoffs are a whole month long.
Oh wow!
And then the championship's 9 games. So I was like, oh my God, I have another 6 weeks of this. Like first night out, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
The championship game just kind of reminds me of how the early part of the World Series was because it was actually best of 9, right?
It was best of 9, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I've actually got to go on a baseball trip down to the Dominican. So I see what you're saying. We didn't get to play here like in that type of atmosphere, but a lot of broken glass on the baseball field. They're all Presidente. That's the name of the beer.
Presidente's a beer there.
It's like a tall green bottle.
Yep.
I went out in the outfield and I'm like, dude, why is there so much glass out here? I'm like, oh, please don't hit the ball. I don't want to dive. So
what made you go down there?
I went on a missions trip, and so we just went around to orphanages and stuff like that. But then we play baseball. And so we traveled to these little different stadiums.
Do you know what cities you were in?
Man, I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what's it? Aquilas? There's a major league or kind of a professional team down there. There's like a Eagles or something like that. So we went to that city. I remember I saw that hat at home, but I went to Santo Domingo. Yeah. That's where I think Pujols is from.
Yes. Yeah. So for me it was Santo Domingo's was where we lived. Santo Domingo's is the capital where we lived, and there was 2 teams there. And then there was San Pedro and La Mirada. And then to the north, there was San Francisco and Santiago. So that was for sure.
It's crazy down there.
It is a level of baseball that if you're a true baseball fan, you have to go there at least once.
It's kind of like the element of the Japanese baseball
and
soccer hooligans.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like we would have fights break out in the stands. We would have like people running on the field. I remember we were in San Francisco for the championship. I was working first base for the last game, and when you're American, you eat food down there and it gets you sick, right? So the last game I'm like sick. I ate something bad, and we're in the 9th inning, and all of a sudden the lights go out. I'm like, oh my God, can we just get out of here? My stomach hurts. So they're like 30 minutes, and I'm like, okay. So I run up. I'm like, I knew the manager. It was a guy named Otto Vicente. He was through the Diamondbacks organization. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Bang on the door if the lights turn on. He's like, I'll send one of my guys there to sit by the door for you. I'm like, cool. So we come out, and the first baseman's like, are you ready? I'm like, for what? He goes, when the last out is made, he's like, because we knew each other. He's like, sprint. He's like, sprint and don't stop. He's like, you cannot stop. I go, what are you talking about? He's like, everyone's going to rush this field. If you don't run as fast as you can, you'll get trapped on this field. Wow. Double play the end of the game. I'm like, it's on video. I'm like, as I'm calling out, luckily it wasn't close. I'm sprinting. And there's a wave. It was so cool. There's a wave of people climbing the wall behind me as the ball's like the ball's in the air, and I'm like already like trying to call them out and start moving towards, because we were on the third base side. Behind me, you can see people already coming over the wall. Oh wow! To sprint on we were just like, we had to like barricade ourselves in the locker room because it was so crazy. And then there was this empanada restaurant that we loved, so we went there and we were stuck there for hours because we couldn't get on the road because everyone was like partying so hard, and like it was a moment, dude. So when people were like, so it's hard now, like I go to Angel games and no one even cares. I'm like,
yeah, it's a
it's a different
social media,
Yes.
golf crowd out there
It's
too.
just the lack of passion, I think, and pride. I want to say.
Well, I think the hard part is the Angels just haven't won lately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have so much. They have Trout, and
all
they have
the talents there.
Yeah.
Ohtani and all that.
So for you guys, so what made you stop doing the podcast? Too busy?
What's that?
What made you stop doing the Angel podcast? Too busy?
Yeah, the friend I referenced, he passed away.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
then after that, it just
The
the
momentum.
momentum
Yeah.
and then just life and then doing this. I think this took a lot away
Who runs
from
their
the Angel
social
stuff.
media? Who runs that? You?
Me, yeah.
Yeah, you? Okay. You just do it all then.
Yeah, we then I think one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on is we set up the whole atmosphere of a game. So instead of just like showing up, you go in the stands, we try to run a concession stand, a mercantile, all that stuff. So he does a lot of the t-shirt design.
Got
we
it.
sell all sorts of just stuff at the game. And then we try to have like a honorary first pitch, someone to sing the national anthem. So last game we actually had an old jug band called the Smudge Pots.
Okay.
They're out of Redlands. I think I found them like on a hashtag. And so they come out, they play in between innings. And then we had Mayor Locke Dawson come out
saw
for
that.
the first pitch. I've been trying to get I was trying to get Rusty out here a while back at the end of his term. And then Patricia, I'm serving on a committee with her right now. So, Philip Falcone, if you know him,
Yeah, I know
he's
Philip.
really,
Philip's everywhere.
yeah. So I'm sure you'll probably have him on the podcast. I'm sure he hasn't been on it. Man.
No, he hasn't been on it yet.
Yeah,
It's also hard sometimes, like kind of the momentum. Like
Yeah.
that's the same thing with this thing. It's like it builds momentum, and then I get busy with other stuff, and then it's like, okay, like let me get back there, and then it's not the easiest thing to do this, and like that's why we only do it on Tuesdays, because it's like I used to do everywhere, and it's just. You get
too
to.
much.
So when's your guys' next game? Not this Saturday, I'm assuming, but next Saturday. Is it
looking
always
at-
on Saturday?
It's always It's always on Saturdays. Sometimes we have them on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So our next game will be July 29th, and I think it's a road game, right? I think it's at Fullerton, I want to say.
Do you guys ever play under lights or no? Is
No
that against
lights.
no lights. That's against the rules.
Wasn't a thing, man.
Yeah.
No lights. That's one thing.
I guess we're still waiting on the update for an All-Star game, supposedly.
Oh, you guys gonna try to do an
Yeah,
All-Star
we're trying to
game?
do an All-Star game. We actually played at the Lake Elsinore
The Storm Stadium.
Yeah, they had like a prohibition night kind of
Mm-hmm.
theme, so it kind of fit in. So they let us play before the game started.
Nice.
So that was cool.
3 innings.
Nice.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, playing on a really nice field.
On a really nice
and,
field.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thrill for me on that was being at the visitors' dugout. And you see all the up-and-coming San Jose Giants coming up to you guys, coming up to us and looking at our bats and our gloves. And
Yeah, we had a guy on
pretty crazy.
one of the teams hit this bomb,
What?
and these guys were warming up down the field. They're like, these bunch of old,
Yeah.
old timers ain't gonna hit the ball that far. This guy just hit a rocket down there. So, but yeah, that was a cool thrill.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think just the thing for me is just seeing the community come together and support the team, and name of the podcast What's Good in Riverside, and just seeing those connections to people that I've been able to meet. All of us becoming friends with people. I never knew Victor before this league. He showed up to just like an open tryout. I never knew him.
Oh, so you just showed up.
Yeah, he's like a rock.
Okay, where'd you
kind of a
see it?
rock-
On like Instagram or what?
Long story short, I was living in Wildemar, right there by Lake Elsinore.
Okay.
And, I think one time I was planning a date night with my wife, and I rented this YouTube video. Like, oh yeah, look at this vintage baseball from the East Coast over in New England. And I was saying, you know what? If they ever did something like this here, I would totally do it.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list. Then probably like I want to say a month later, I see a posting on Facebook.
That's how it works.
I was, and it's funny because I was running the San Marino Spirit page on Facebook. I was kind of being a spirit historian.
Okay.
So I'm, collecting, just merchandise and stuff like that. And I saw that post. I was like, oh, we're having vintage baseball tryouts for the Riverside team. And told at the time my ex, I was like, I'm going to go for it. See, comes in, maybe I won't make it. I got to the point where I needed a new challenge. Cause
sure.
I've played softball so many times. I got tired of the.
Did you turn anyone down? Sorry, if you don't have to,
let's just say the first tryout was actually down the street at Ryan Bonaminio.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you don't have to answer this question, but
Whoever showed up made the team.
Yeah,
Got it.
I was like, that was easy.
yeah.
No offense, Victor.
Yeah.
no,
I'm just saying. Yeah.
I wonder, like, this. I would
maybe.
assume that's an issue sometimes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh well.
Yeah, I don't want to be that person. Yeah, so no, we have a good group of guys that complement each other, coming from all walks of life, all different careers, and it's just kind of cool. But I think the commonality is the love of baseball. Some guys just want to play the game, and some guys like to do the community, building, and go out there and teach kids. Like we did like a baseball clinic on the lawn at the Heritage House. Like, man, if you would have told me like I was going to Ramona High School right down the street, like I would be at the Heritage House and we have kids hitting into nets and missing the net and the ball hitting some apartment complex and stuff like that. So it's been pretty cool. Just seeing the community rally around our team and like looking out and like we had like 250 people at a game. And like think about the time you ever like think of these minor league draws, man. 250 maybe.
Oh, man, I remember.
And I think that was our debut. See, that was our
Yeah,
first game.
and even our last game, and then you're like, man, they're coming to watch me, and you're like, man, I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm not in shape or anything like that.
You're never 250. Imagine 10,000.
Yeah, I'm like, ugh.
And I think with us, like we go the extra mile at times.
I think that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you guys just had the bats and the gloves, but it's everything that comes with it.
You know I can't waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can't waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. I'm in my bag, got my eyes on the price. You know I can't waste no time, cause I gotta keep it tight. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me. Give me the bass, give me the beat. I'm in my bag, this round is on me.
Yeah, it's the experience, and I think that's what we're trying to create.
Yeah,
So
we're trying to pretty much give a show. Pretty much, don't get me wrong, we're competitive and we love to play and we love to win, but we also want to throw out a show. I'm like,
Well, look with the banana.
yeah,
little Savannah banana.
I would love. I mean, their tickets are sold like
Yeah, who would have thought?
because it's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're literally like that's something that I hate about baseball. It's just not entertaining that much anymore. Like it's like bat flips are cool. I'm sorry. Like bat flips are cool. Like that stuff is exciting for younger people. They want to feel that energy. It's if it's everything's like cookie cutter, it's like what am I even doing here? And it's tough. Like when you go to a game and it's like 1-0, pitchers duel. You're like, okay, that was fun. You know what I mean? That's fun. Do you guys keep all your stats?
this year actually is the first year we actually started keeping stats.
Okay.
I'm actually the scorekeeper at this point.
Oh, are you?
Keeping stats. Me and an umpire, actually, his name is Darren. We call him Sugar. Me, him, and I think one of the other guys from the league, we're actually going to probably this offseason try to set up like an official scorebook.
Got it.
So of what could be legal, what could be. I know for back in the day, a base on ball, that counts actually a hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is even funnier.
Yeah.
You know? So you could be batting 1,000.
Just all ball walks.
4 base on balls,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, shoot, if you can get 7, then I mean, then
Oh,
Yeah, like just thinking about it, I saw the glove, just kind of throw it up on the
Yeah.
camera. Like anything in the air, you better be running it out because you have no idea. Like the
someone's
amount of errors, like there's
Oh.
nothing is.
I would
like
be. I honestly would be scared to catch a ball with one of those.
Yeah.
Who even makes those? Where do you even get them?
So this one I had made. This is kind of a custom one. This is made by Huntington Baseball. They're out of Massachusetts, but this guy makes some crazy quality stuff. Like he shipped it in this custom box. And
Wow.
stuff. So, but the other ones, like some of these other gloves, I think this one's made by Pantoja Sports.
yeah.
But there's another one. It's called Vintage Baseball Factory. So they're pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Like some of them you can get for like $35. The bats, actually, we partnered up on one of the companies we use is Trinity. You probably heard of Trinity.
Yeah,
they make MLB bats.
Yeah, they make MLB
So they're
bats.
making a bat for us. We're also teamed up with we actually are gonna have there's a company called Pillbox Bat Company. They're gonna make a bat for us, and then there's a few people in the Bay Area that actually turn bats in their garage. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
So what does it cost someone to get started in this? Like obviously,
It's like a starter pack.
Yeah, like starter pack. Like,
I'm interested. You want to sign up today?
Do you pay the league anything? Do you guys?
Yeah, so we have league fees and everything.
Okay.
We got that goes to paying for fields, umpires, insurance.
What do umpires make? That's what I really want to know.
Hey, the umpires are the only ones making money out there,
How much
and
they make?
I think this season we're paying $80 a game. It was $40, and a few weeks ago we actually had a really weird experience where the umpire walked off the field
Really?
and didn't come back.
Yeah.
We were all looking at each other. Never had it before. We were, saying we were challenging a few things, and just walked off.
I've seen a lot of it lately, especially now with social media. You see a lot of umpires walk off, and it's crazy. If you're not in this space, and most people aren't, it's like the shortage of officials now. Because this shirt right here is Umps Care. We work with Major League Baseball with helping kids and stuff. So like I said, I'm still really involved, but it's like there's a lot of people walk off now.
Yeah.
Like I think the days when I first started, 2003, like the days of like getting worn out anymore are just done. Like, okay, I'll just leave. Like,
I don't need this.
I don't need. Well, so people ask me all the time, why don't you umpire baseball? So like, I could go work the Pac-12 and make good money, and I'm like, I just don't want to. Like, I don't want to go out there and get yelled at or whatever, or question. I just want to be left alone.
You know the rules now. So if we need an umpire,
dude,
last minute, I'm gonna hit you
call
up.
me up.
We'll get you a top hat.
Someone asked me the other day, like, we had a Little League game. An umpire didn't show up or something. They're like, go out there. I'm like, no. They're like, my girl's like, why not? I'm like, because. I'm like, no. I'm like, I know I don't want to go out there. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. But wow, you had someone walk off. Wow.
Yeah. So that was different.
That was the first. Right, that's the first time.
Yeah,
actually.
it was more like, if you guys can call it better, than call it.
Yeah.
All right, so then the catchers called the game the rest of the time. So
I assume it's not easy to call those games.
No, it's
especially
different.
It's different.
I mean, there's
your strike zone's big.
Yeah, there's time. Yeah, then you can call your strike zone too. So you want a high zone or a low zone.
Yeah.
So you're stuck in that traditional mindset that we're working like that. And the guy called high zone. So if you throw a ball right down the middle, that's actually a ball, not a strike. So it's just it is funky and takes a while. And so there's times where we have to walk it out and talk through certain plays. So
the strike zone is from waist to shoulders, and then bottom is shoulders to knees.
And you get to call it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God that got changed.
Yeah.
I would have
the
never
high
made
zone, the balls at the top of your head.
It's funny nowadays. You call anything above the belt, everyone's like, that pitch is so high. You're like, what?
And then the pitchers actually just has to pitch within a box, so you're not stuck to a rubber. So they have to stay within that chalk box.
Is it flat or is there a mound?
It depends on the field.
Okay.
So if you're playing at a high school field, you're touching the
you're
base of the mound,
right
so you get a little incline. And then the other thing is the quick pitch, which is kind of crazy. Talk about like the time clock in Major League Baseball. So as soon as the pitcher gets the ball back, they could throw it again.
Oh, really?
So if the batter's just like, how you're like, oh man, that's a strike. You look down
And
at the
you feel like
ground and you're like doing your little practice swing, throw another one right there.
We always tell.
So if you master that quick pitch.
Yeah, we always tell the batters, do not get out of the box.
Yeah.
Do not get out of the box.
Because he can go sling it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ready. You got to be ready for it. That's
our main pitcher. He's really good at that. So that'll.
How are you guys handling all the changes in baseball now, Major League Baseball? How do you feel about it?
I don't know. I'm more of a traditionalist, obviously.
Yeah.
So
that's why you're the perfect person.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I love it. I guess I'm getting used to it. I don't like the sponsorship on the jerseys.
You don't like that?
I think that bothers me the most.
I had Pepsi on me when I was in the Dominican.
Oh, man.
And we had Pepsi and we had a Dish Network or something like that.
Yeah, if I was in the Dominican, I could see it more. But just Major League Baseball, I just don't. Like, you have the rest of the stadium to advertise. And the advertisements have always been part of baseball stadiums.
Yeah, like the outfield
like
wall.
WB Mason and like Yankee Stadium's iconic and stuff like that. So I just don't like the jersey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the sponsorship on the jersey. I'm really not a big fan of the posy rule. I'm not.
Blocking the plate.
I'm not a big fan of the pitch clock.
Oh, I love the pitch clock.
I
love the pitch clock.
Yeah, these games are going by so quick.
I love the pitch clock. The pitch clock. I think in like 10 years they'll be able to like take it away. You know what I mean? Because people just get so used to it. But I mean, if you love the game, it has to get faster.
Yeah,
it just has
Especially being behind the plate, you're like.
Well, it's just like for me personally, like people go to a lot of games, and I'm like, and I was like, because I used to like go to dinner in the first, then go and catch the fifth. Because I'm gonna go hang out with my friends afterwards, so it's like if I show up in the fifth and this game still goes 2.5 hours since then, it's like, oh my god. But now it's like, dude, every game's like 240, 230, like it's crazy
Yeah.
how
So
fast the
faster,
games are.
yeah.
What do you think? What did you guys ever? So you don't like the blocking the plate rule? What about the bags being bigger this
Yeah,
year?
that's-
I don't like that one, but
I don't know. Like on.
I don't see the reasoning behind it, but
See, on TV, it doesn't look too bad, but
it's 3 inches.
I knew a kid that played the high school baseball game recently. You know, like at Angel Stadium, they let them play, and he said it's just funky.
Yeah,
like,
it's 3 inches bigger each
like
side.
he's like, man, it just felt so.
Wasn't they
weird.
gonna add like the orange?
Oh, no, I don't think they're ever gonna do that.
I heard
Man,
something.
Nah,
they started
nah.
doing that.
What about replay? Do you guys like replay?
I think it does. I'm like, I can't complain about it. You know,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of. I'm not a big fan of the player calling the replay. To be honest, maybe if it was the umpire or maybe if it was one of the coaches that he missed something, maybe I could see.
Yeah.
Yeah, replay's all right if you get it right after
Yeah.
the replay, but all these times they don't even get it right after the
Well,
replay. So you have like 5 minutes. We're trying
Yeah.
to speed the game up, and
I
then all of a
know.
sudden it's like, oh, what did we accomplish there?
What people don't realize is that not every, because I've been to the replay in New York, is sometimes you don't get the right feed in time.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a feed that they're showing on TV that they don't have
Mm-hmm.
that feed there. So if there's one angle that shows it's right and they don't get that,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like there's sometimes it's like, well, we didn't get that feed, so it's like MLB should have got us that feed and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and then they feel the pressure too, like, okay, time is clicking, like, okay, how do we, you know?
Yeah. Then also the whole like you slide into second, you come off the bag,
But like
for,
that much?
that much,
Yeah.
and like, I got him out, replay,
Yeah.
got him out, and it's
Yeah.
like really, like I mean, think of the like double plays they would call back in
for
the day,
sure.
like dude, guys like that far off the bag, yeah, he's an out, it's an out. So I don't know about all that. It's kind of just like
I think
micro.
the last couple of years they have utilized something that we've been using in our league, which is the hidden ball trick.
Oh,
You see more hidden ball tricks now in the major leagues than you did 15, 20 years ago.
yeah. It's always crazy when you watch like back in the 90s. Like I kind of forget because I was a kid, but it's like how they no one switch out balls anymore. Like the ball would get hit back to like the third base coach would pick it up and just throw it right back to the pitcher.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like our league. We try to play with like 2 baseballs or so.
Oh,
in
okay.
theory, depending on what park you're at, you lose baseballs. And that's the whole thing is the ball's supposed to get a little bit softer throughout the game, because it's not wound as tight. So yeah, so 2 baseballs, that's it. Yeah, you're right. They like
Oh, my
pitch,
God,
drops on
we
the ground,
skipped
throw the
to-
ball out.
Yeah, we.
Like how many dozen do you think you're going through?
Oh, I think we used to go through like 6-7 dozen a game.
And that's just minor.
Yeah,
Like
and they probably go
major
through
league,
10,
yeah,
10
crazy.
dozen balls. You know what I mean? It's like, so we used to have to rub them up before games.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so if I had to rub them up, like I kept as many as I could, because I'm like, I'm gonna have to rub up more tomorrow. So if I use them once today, I gotta rub more up tomorrow. So I don't. We'd have to travel around with the Mississippi mud and
Oh, gee.
Oh wow.
all and before every game, and you know, it's a good time. So do you guys ever have problems having teams not being able to field teams?
Oh wow. That's a long story right
Uh,
there.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
so this year, we brought in. Last year we had around 3 or 4 forfeit games,
mm-hmm.
and our rosters are at 15.
And you still couldn't get 9.
Well, this is the thing about it. So this year we improvised a rule which we had. We have extended the roster to 17, but you can only dress 15 for the game.
Got it.
So we have that rule, but we've gotten already 3 forfeit games this season. I'm not gonna mention who teams they are because they know who they are.
Yeah.
So, I'm like,
When you only play an 8, so
That's the
yeah,
thing.
and then
That's the
forfeits, man, people have to take days off. You work
Yeah.
on the weekend, take a day off. You already paid for the field.
Yeah.
Like I get upset because you promote the game. Like I'm going in, I'm putting flyers in
well, because
coffee
I
shops.
see you guys at your you guys are out front Brookwood right here. Your stuff's in that window.
Brookwood's been a sponsor, so
Yeah.
we're going around and promoting the heck out of the game. And then I got to go down to the field anyways and turn people away that maybe they're not like on social media and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
this lady came all happy, ready to see a game, been trying to get out to one forever. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. So stuff like that. It's just unfortunate, especially when you're trying to grow the league.
Yeah.
Like we've been getting a lot of good exposure. Last year we were on the LA Times, Channel 2 News. Jim Hill did like a special on us, on the league, just things like that. We've been in, the Riverside magazine. So we're really trying to work on that. So things like that really kind of, kill the growth of the league. So, having 17 players, there's no way that we
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to get
be able to
nine.
get 9, but
there
it
shouldn't
still
be no
happens.
excuse. There shouldn't be no
Yeah,
excuse.
we had. Summers are rough. We actually barely carried a full roster our last game, so I can see how it happens. People have to work. They have Little League commitments right
Yeah.
now. A lot of
All-Stars,
All-Star.
dude.
So I do get that.
We were in All-Stars, and I'm not gonna lie, I was so happy we were out. It's so much.
It goes on forever.
It's every day. It goes on forever, and you're like, oh my god, I don't have time.
So
for this.
I think that's a big part of it. Family vacation.
Yeah, of course, family vacations as well.
So
You ever thought about maybe shifting the season? Like,
I think that's why we're taking July off.
you're taking all of July off.
It's pretty much off, and I'm happy with that. We're running pretty hard, and so it's gonna be a nice break.
I always wish Major League Baseball and minor league baseball. We always wanted the 100-game schedule in minor league baseball.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we paying
so
140?
much. That's
Like
grueling.
we played 144 with like less than 10 days off a season, and it's like,
And you're talking bus travel.
dude, I'm talking about. We didn't. I mean, I drove myself, so we'd work a game at night, get done, drive 12 hours to the next city, and then work the next night.
That's insane.
Yeah, or
at the minor league level.
luckily, I was in when I was in AAA. At least we could fly when I was in the Pacific Coast League.
Yeah.
So, but you'd get home back to the hotel about midnight. Then you're getting up at 4 because you had to take that 6 a.m. flight to a connector and go from there. It's something like it's something to like. Same thing. You guys know the experience of old baseball. Like I know the experience of professional baseball. So when you try to explain that to people, it's not what it like. There's hiccups in anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think now I have to come out to a game.
Yeah.
Now I have to come out to a game because I'm definitely interested in seeing. I don't think I'll umpire, but I'll definitely come and check it out. Because I don't think
Someone walks off. You're up.
I'll call pitches behind the mound. All right. Do you guys ever? So you guys are stuck in the rules. Unless have you guys made any rule changes outside of the era?
We take some liberties, like you'll see some purists kind of troll us on social media.
Yeah.
So like there was one like where the catcher was kind of in a like a crouch position. They're like, they didn't do that
They
back
used to
then.
stand,
They
right?
would just stand or
Yeah.
kind of like that more, things like that. Maybe the velocity of pitches and things like that. It's more of a hitter's game.
Yeah.
You're just trying to put it up there, let your defense
Yeah.
do the work. So I think that's kind of maybe gained some criticism. Like a lot of the like symbols on like on a cleat, like the Nike swoosh, not we try to like spray everything out.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to get like cleats from the era is just like not feasible.
Did they have metal cleats back then, or?
Yeah, metal.
Yeah. So are you guys allowed to wear metal then?
Yeah, we were metal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For safety reasons, I just use turf shoes.
Yeah.
That's just my thing. So.
All right, you're
Yeah.
a turf shoe guy.
Yeah.
I like metal.
You like metal?
Yeah, it just feels,
Well, so, are you guys ever worried you guys are going to lose the field at School of Death, or are they just been?
Yeah,
that great?
so I know you saw that they received $50 million on the state of California's last budget.
Yeah.
Which is going to go into a football complex, which
Well,
also
yeah,
includes baseball.
They win. They
all of a
win.
sudden.
All of a sudden, people are like, oh,
Yeah,
let's give
so
them
the
money.
school, the front, they've redone most of
redone
the
the
front
front of it,
part,
yeah.
but the whole back part's stuck in the 50s. I think that's the last upgrade. So that's the baseball, soccer.
Dude, I remember my sister. I grew up in Orangecrest. My sister was the first school through Ben Franklin, and her first year was cubicles on the football field at that place. That's how Ben Franklin's elementary.
Ben Franklin Elementary was
The first year Ben Franklin opened up, I think they only had K in first. There were cubicles or trailers
crazy.
that are on the football field at that school.
Wow.
And it looks like the same it did then. Yeah.
So I was speaking with the athletic director, and she said that the money's there, and they're going to redo baseball, and they're going to keep the grass. They're going to keep it grass, not turf or anything. So
yeah.
I'm like, sweet, because we can't play vintage baseball on turf. And so so hopefully the next I'm sure it's going to take a good 5 years at least, but to continue playing there. But we're open to staying there as long as possible.
Yeah,
But,
makes your life easier.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy. I don't think people understand how difficult it is to put something like this together.
Yeah.
And keep it going.
Yeah,
it's
selling
like having the right teams and having enough money and having the fields and insurance, I'm guessing. And
the insurance, we're finally turning into an LLC and stuff like that. When you get that nonprofit, then you can get the donations, grants, all of that. So I think the commissioner's working on that right now. So
who's the commissioner?
His name is Zach Grelling. He's the captain of the Lordsburg team. And then the league was started by Wes Abarca, who's actually a player on Crestline right now. But he kind of got this whole thing going. So Yeah.
Are you gonna ever try to become the commissioner?
No, I was a commissioner for like the COVID season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I don't want to do that again.
No?
That's rough, man.
Too much work
Too
for
much
you?
pressure and schedules and.
Do you guys ever have ejections? Has anyone ever been ejected from a game? Well, you had a walk off, so.
From what I heard, maybe I want to say maybe around the first season, I think between Crestline and Palmdale. I think one of the Palmdale guys got ejected.
Yeah.
But
No fights ever breaking out?
sometimes our tensions flare sometimes.
Yeah, so we're trying to, we're trying not to be like that, like the
Yeah.
softball kind of, all the
I used to
masculinity.
love it. I used to play in a softball league at the Grove.
At the Grove.
Yeah,
No,
at the
you
Grove.
can't be fighting at the Grove.
And everyone's all pissed, and then we pray afterwards. I'm like, what is it? Like, everyone's all upset, and then it's like, okay, let's pray, everyone.
Yeah, I played in a softball league at the Grove. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a good time. So in 5 years, what would be like, in the perfect world, what would this look like for you guys?
5 years, I think hopefully I will still be involved
Yeah.
with this, even if I'm playing or not playing. I have a lot of, I want to say I have, I don't know what that word is, but I think I've contributed a lot to this league.
Yeah.
As a designer, but not only that, but also I don't know if we talked about it, that the Heritage Cup, which is the championship trophy
Yeah.
that's awarded to the.
You designed that too?
I designed that trophy.
Wow.
Yeah, so he designed this huge trophy, and it has like plaques from like nodding to the earliest real teams, like in the 1880s all the way, and he has like pictures
Do
of
you guys
us
trade
engraved.
it? Do you guys trade it? Is it like the
It's like the Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup? So you get
so
to keep it
so
for
he
your...
paid for it, but
Uh-huh.
now it's sitting in like
in the
Crestline's like mountain community center.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bring that trophy back
Yeah,
home.
so
That's-
after our second
that's the goal.
championship, a couple of our guys went out on the town
Yeah, with it?
with the cup. I think they took it to Lake Alice.
Oh.
They may have been drinking out of it,
Nice.
sleeping with it for a
Nice.
couple.
I like it.
Luckily, it didn't end up in no strip club.
Yeah. So yeah, going back to the question, yeah, of course we like to win more championships
For sure.
always, but just I don't know, just to grow as a team and just to like I went to Butch's Grinders, recently, and they put up like jerseys of all the World Series champions from Riverside. So
Yeah.
you see the Kennedy jersey,
Yeah.
Jake Marisnik, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, I
So,
forgot Marisnik,
so
guy with
I hit up
Astros.
the owner. I'm like, hey man, can we get that Smudge Pot jersey framed in Butch's Grinder? So I mean, that's like a 5-year plan right there for me.
Hopefully, because I know they have the sports museum.
Hall of Fame.
Sports Hall of
I
Fame.
would
Yeah.
like to see, hopefully, down the road, maybe the trophy and maybe one of our uniforms in there with
In there.
pictures.
Yeah.
Because we're a big part of this community.
Well, it seems like you guys are getting traction.
Yeah.
The mayor came out. Like, it seems like you're not just,
Yeah, even
you're
though
getting
we've
the
been,
attention.
even though we've been around for a while now, like just speaking with the general public at some of these events, like, hey, they think that we're just like dressing up or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, we actually play.
It's
have you heard of us?
They
Riverside
think
Smudge
it's just
Pots?
like the people in the park.
They think we're like
Doing the medieval
Dickens
time.
Festival,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're just
yeah.
like some time traveler. We're
Yeah.
a LARPer or something like that. And so there's a lot of people that haven't heard of it. They haven't been to the games. Just being on today's podcast, and then just like I think Mark, who you've had on
Yeah,
the podcast before, he did some coverage.
Yeah, he was
at
out
our
there last week.
game. Yeah, so I'm waiting to see that. So we're still getting a lot of this cool coverage, and I would like to do educational stuff through the city, and go out to like a youth baseball camp and things like that. So I don't know.
Well, I think this is just cool to see people trying to remember people, the love of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think maybe like the kind of the cool part too is like the game's a little bit slower. I'd assume it's a little bit slower. Like not everyone can throw from 60 feet.
Yeah.
And not everyone's trying to strike everyone out.
Yeah. And like just thinking of the age range, like we have people that were 18 all the way up to 60 in the league.
Okay.
So it gives a lot of opportunity for all, and then everyone's contributing, and then just like I think like that pastime, the memories of yesteryear, the nostalgia, feeling like young again. So
Yeah.
just these people can go out and just kind of like forget your problems.
Well, and then too, like when it's just, I mean, maybe not our age, but like people maybe in the like 50s or 60s, like when they were coming up as kids, it was like wood bats still.
Yeah.
There wasn't all this metal, like
It's
now,
Sandlot.
Now,
It's
yeah,
that.
now you go to, now it's kind of sad. Now it's like every kid's in a baseball factory and They play tournaments every single weekend.
Perfect game,
and they're in
all
the.
that stuff.
They got a $300 to $500 bat.
You
and
have to play on a. You have to be on a club
you
travel.
have to be in a club
team.
travel ball team, and
That's just it's too
it's
much.
just
too much
too
for
much.
kids.
It's
and
too
kids
much
are
for
gonna
kids.
burn out. and-
Well, and I would come. So we didn't make a lot of money, obviously. So I would come and like work like 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds at like big Field of Dreams, and I would tell them all the time, like, dude, this is not how like if you're trying to get ready for professional baseball, like this is not what professional baseball is about. Like my high school coach, I went to a King. Like I would talk to him and I would tell him, I'm like, dude, I'm like, this isn't how this if your best player gets drafted tomorrow and goes, this isn't how this is done. Just so you know, like you are doing it so wrong. This is not how they do it. Like none of this. And that's the thing. It's all these people trying to get their kids ready for professional baseball, but none of them have the experience. So it's like you're leading them down a path. Like, I mean, guys like D. Gordon, I'm like, when did you start playing baseball? Junior college. Why? I was fast and I could hit a little bit. I didn't really ever want to play baseball. And then someone saw me messing around one day and they saw, wow, you're really fast. You ever thought about playing baseball? Like, yeah, sure, I'll try. Like, if you're athletic and you're genetically gifted, and you'll get there.
Yeah, same thing with Larry Walker. He just started playing adult softball, and then the Expo scout scouted him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even Kennedy, when I've had him on here, I've talked to him on and off camera. Like, even he was just like, yeah, like, I just all of a sudden, like, started realizing, like, I have something. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, now I get drafted. And then he's like, then I was with the Cardinals, and all of a sudden with the Angels, and then bing, bing, boom, World Series champ.
Yeah, 3 home runs, 1 game.
Yeah, the funny thing is, backstory about that story is he's like, when I had him on the podcast, he talked about, he's like, I felt terrible that day. I had the worst BP ever. He's like, I thought I was going to go 0 for 4 that day. Like, he goes, I felt so bad before that game. He's like, I was so, like, discouraged because my BP was terrible. And then he's like, okay, I hit 1, then I hit 2. Then
You know, the craziest thing, now that you brought that up, is a guy on our team, the Dazzler, he caught one of those balls.
Oh, really?
At that game. And I'm like, what? Where's it at? He said they sent someone out there real quick.
Got it from him.
Offered it, and I think they exchanged it for like season tickets or something like that. I'm like, yeah. So Dazzler caught Kennedy. I think it was like home run 2.
Well, because that's how quick they are. Like when I was in Philly for the World Series, my buddy worked home plate with the combined no hitter, and like everyone walks in and Major League Baseball sprinting in there, and they're like tagging everything like. Everything is tagged like
they don't want to make the same mistake they did with the Gibson home run.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They tag in everything. Yeah. They tagged his like anything that was on them. They tagged it to state like this was an official thing in this game. So if anyone nowadays, if it's not officially marked, but it's not it. Like they don't miss it anymore.
Yeah, like that ball in that case. I don't know if you can see it on camera. Yeah. That's actually the last out from our second championship right there.
Oh, nice.
First championship, who knows? I don't know where we were just so excited. So I don't know who grabbed it, but I threw it in that little case that sits in a room at my house.
Yeah, and it's like I know like my buddy sent me like I was like kind of nervous asked for a World Series ball, and then I was like, hey, like can I get a ball? And he's like, honestly, I don't have them. And I'm like, why? He's like, MLB is like marking them.
Yeah, it's money too.
He's like, they're marking them. He's like, I should be able to get like 10. So then one day he like I got a package with the ball in it, and it's like officially marked, and he's like, if you ever sell this, I was like, why would I ever? Who would buy this ball? Like it's worth more to me than it is.
I'd buy it, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing about that, I think that World Series is that we had one of the guys. I think our last game at Crestline, for the opening ceremony for the first pitch. I think one of the pitchers for the Giants who was part of that World Series team, right?
Yeah, there was a guy that pitched in that World Series throughout the first pitch.
Yeah,
oh, really?
And then,
up there, I think.
Yeah, then a guy on our team, his dad played for the Big Red Machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he threw out the first pitch at our first ever game, but his name's Jim Merritt. And he, he's friends with, Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, all that. He's almost like an 80-game winner. So to have him out there and just hearing stories from him, it's just incredible stuff, man. Telling stories about hanging out with Mickey Mantle, golfing together, going out to Palm Springs, stuff like that. So it's a trip. It's a different game.
I sometimes take it for granted the life that I like. How like to say that I've signed the inside of the Green Monster and like like you know what I mean, or been on the field for a World Series, or be on the field for the All-Star game, and probably on the field for a home run derby. Like, so I forget sometimes how like fortunate that is, So, but what would be the best way to find out about you guys, watch you guys, know what's going on, or join you guys? What's the best way to see what's going on in the league?
For the league, it's if you follow the website is SoCalVBB.com. So SoCal Vintage Baseball. And then for us, I think the best way is through Instagram. I think that's where we're most
You're pretty active. You're pretty quick on the
DMs.
DMs.
Yeah, pretty
so.
on the DM. Slide into our DM.
Yeah.
We'll respond there. We're also on Facebook as well. But you'll see our schedule on Instagram. And so we're always looking for new sponsorships too.
Got it.
Always looking to up the swag game, the uniform
sure.
game, and all that. So if I could shout out some of our sponsors,
Please
if
do.
you don't mind. One
Yeah,
of them's
go
a
for
real
it.
estate agent, so I don't want to take away
Listen,
from you.
bro, I ain't
Yes.
too worried.
Yeah, so I'd like to shout out the Brickwood right down below
Yeah.
us. They've always supported our team. And then last few years, I think they've been on your podcast too, is Vixen and Beard in the gallery at Tyler. It's a men's grooming products. And also another company that's done by them is Venture Grooming. They sponsor our team. And the last one is he's actually a pitcher on our team, but he's a real estate agent, Daniel Favela Real Estate.
Nice.
So, and also Made has helped us in the past.
Nice.
So a lot of partnerships within the city, and we just appreciate all that, and it helps make this all work.
Well, that's why we started this podcast, to be honest. A lot of people always ask, like, what was the reasoning behind it? It's like, there's so many people that want to get their voice out that just don't have the ability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I want to promote myself more. I want more people to know who I am, but it's like, I don't have this,
Yeah.
I don't have the people. Like, you're like, how do you edit it? I'm like setting up was so hard because I don't set up. Like, I have people that set up. I have people that edit. I have people that post all my stuff. Like, I'm barely even on social media because my team does it. So it's like we came to realize, like, okay, I have the ability to give this to our clients and people we know.
Yeah.
We need to take what we were doing for the real estate company and be able to give it to more people. That's why we started this.
Also want to mention Vaudeville Baseball on Instagram.
Okay.
We keep track of the standings and upcoming games.
Nice.
Upcoming games.
Nice.
So we put little tidbits of our history of the game from old photos
Nice.
from the East Coast, and
I'm surprised you guys don't take all your photos and put them in black and white.
we do.
Yeah, these 10 types right here that we brought in. These are special. These were actually developed on a camera from the 1860s out off Victoria in the Groves in August. Riverside magazine hired a 10 type photographer to come and take the photos that they would use in the magazine, but they did it, true to style, and so.
It's super cool.
So yeah, those aren't just like your black and white filter or anything like that. All those photos were actually on 10 type, and so those are some of, like, I would say, my prized possessions.
Dude,
they're in my kitchen on a shelf. My wife is like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, it's
baseball's making its
things
way in.
used to be so much hard. Like, we take for granted how easy things are nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
we couldn't move. We had to stay still for 20 seconds.
Oh, really?
Pretty much.
Like that. You had to shut the thing, just let it sit. Well, or else it'd be like a blur.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, boys, I'm excited. Your next game's in 2 Saturdays. Sorry, in August. You guys are taking July off.
Yeah. Actually, I think our next game is July 29th, which is a road game. But,
Okay. When's your first home game? Back in August?
It's gonna be in August. It's gonna be against Redondo Beach. I don't know what day.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah, just make sure you follow us. We'll put it out and we'll promote it. Maybe you'll throw out the first pitch.
For sure, something like
you're
that.
down
People are
with
like, why are
that.
you guys going to have this guy out here? Thank you guys so much for the time. Thank you. I know how busy you guys are, and, I can definitely feel the passion for the game, and that's super awesome to see because I think that's lost,
Yeah.
People always ask me, like, what was it about umpiring? It was like, dude, it's literally like the love, like the ability to love the game and see how awesome it is because it's lasted this long for a reason. I know baseball's kind of down and out right now because it's not keeping it, but it's lasted this long for a reason.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to go anywhere time soon. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Make sure you go follow them, support them, share their stuff. Come check out a game. And until next time, guys, peace.